part 3, sadly, of global racism, because my other two videos, it wasn't enough for people to just keep interrupting because they can't apparently see those bright orange lights. I'm going to have to buy bigger lights. It's just that simple. I'm going to have to buy bigger freaking lights. So, as I come to an end for this video, because I know that I'm not going to be able to go so deep into this thing that I really wanted to, which is why there's 3 parts, because people keep interrupting. When we all live off the stereotypes, or when we start getting into race and we don't have a discussion, we don't sit down and try to figure out what it is about our races that we hate so much about other people's races. You know, it's more difficult to try to understand each other than it is to not understand each other, because hatred is easy. Hatred is really easy. You can hate anybody any day of the week, every day of the week, for absolutely fucking nothing. At all. They don't even have to have done anything to you outside of breathe. And that's how we work in America. Now, around the world, it's not that simple, but for America, because America is the only country I've ever been in outside of Canada, which is just an extension of America, you know, racism. We're just like all a bunch of racists. We got our noses in the air. We don't want people who are in love with other people to marry them. We're all about, no, you have to marry your own kind. You can't marry this person or that person because they're not one of ours. Yet, I've known plenty of girls who have been pimp slapped, bitch slapped, and all kinds of shit by men of the same color. And then you tell them, you know, well, you gotta marry this guy. No, you don't. You marry who you love because you love them. And love is truly colorblind. Now, we have preferences. I personally love Asian women. I think that they are the most beautiful women on earth. People don't like it when I say that. I don't give a rat's ass what those people don't like. That's just how I feel about it. It's not like I have yellow fever, as they chalk it up to. Oh, you just got yellow fever because you dated a couple of Asian girls. I just like Asian girls because they're exceptionally beautiful to me. They're probably all over my phone, and they're probably all over my porn sites. But that does not make me have yellow fever. It's just what I'm attracted to. And so when I see a white man with an Asian girl, no one says anything to them. But if you see a mixed man with an Asian girl, oh, it's a fucking problem. It's the same thing if you see a black man with a white girl. It's a fucking problem. It's the same thing if you see a white girl with a black guy and you're white. It's the same thing when you're a black woman with a white man and the black man will be like, bitch, you crazy. Why you dating that white dude? But yet, if a white man is dating a black woman, the black man's like, this man's taking our women. And the white man say the same thing when you're taking their women. And you understand the schematics of this is that no one's really giving a fuck about those couple could just very well fucking be in love with each other. Their race has nothing to fucking do with it. Their kids are going to come out like me. They're going to be mixed. They're going to have a hard time. But they're going to adapt. They're going to adjust. They're going to thrive. But no one cares about that. Because we all want to be racist. Instead of trying to understand people, instead of trying to learn about your cultural history and your cultural differences, you want to put people down because you just don't understand it. You know, not every Native American tribe has a totem pole. Tribes split off and become their own thing. Which is why some tribes on the West Coast have totem poles and a lot of tribes on the East do not. Some people just think totem poles are fucking cool. You know, it kind of fucked me up when I found out that dream catchers were not Native American. It's the same thing with Kwanzaa not being for black people because it's not from Africa. You know, you would think about this stuff, and then you would overanalyze it, and then you would first be the people to call me a racist. Now, I'm not being a racist, I'm just telling you how the world works. When a white woman is with a black man, white men don't like it, black women don't like it. If the shoes was reversed and it was a black woman with a white man, black men don't like it, white women don't like it. What she got that I ain't got? You know, same thing with the man. What he got that I ain't got? Ain't got a damn thing to do with money. It's got to do with how somebody treats you. You know, if you are with someone and they are fucking yellow and purple or blue, if they treat you like you're supposed to be treated, and you treat them like they're supposed to be treated, your relationship will be great. That doesn't always work out, because I've been in one of those relationships where I've treated the white girl like gold. She cheated on me. I treated the Asian girl like gold. She dumped me with the words, relationships are overrated and you can't come see me anymore. Not, you're an evil asshole and you smacked my ass around and you beat me, because I never did any of that. I never so much as raised my voice at her. But I guess it was her or her family who just didn't want her to be with someone who wanted to be with her for the rest of her life, regardless of whether she was Asian, regardless of whether she had problems or not. I was there. Her being Asian was a bonus for me. She was beautiful, but she was only beautiful to me. She wasn't beautiful to herself, and God only knows how it ended. But this is how racism destroys things. Racism will keep you from the true love of your life if you allow it to do such thing. If you're a black man and you're married to a white woman, or you love this white woman, but you couldn't be with her because your family said that you can't marry a white woman, you have to marry a black woman. That's racism at its best, and bigotry. It's okay to have them as friends. It's okay to have friends with benefits, but it's not okay for you to bring that broad home for the rest of your life. That's racism. It's the same thing if you are a white man with a black woman and your family don't like black people. It's like, well, you can't marry that chickaboo because we don't want her and her chickaboo babies in our bloodline. See how racist that sounds? Chickaboo. I don't even know what the fuck that is, but I've heard it as a racist term towards black women. So I think I learned it from Police Academy, actually. And then maybe Eddie Murphy. But at the same time, and then it's the same thing with racist Asians and racist blacks and racist whites when you bring an Asian woman home. Oh, you can't marry her. Your kids are going to be slant-eyed and have sideways vaginas. That's about as racist and as nasty as you can get in a conversation. And then if it's the other side around, and like, why are you messing with this Guai Lo? Or this guy Jin? Why are you messing with him? There are plenty of other Asian men out here that you can be with. Why are you messing with that one? And the young woman would be like, well, Dad, he actually treats me better than these Asian men who talk to me like shit and treat me like I'm some kind of fuck toy and a Asian prostitute. And I really love him. He really loves me. We don't worry about spending money on things that we don't need. We go out, we get along. We don't ever fucking argue. We have a disagreement here and there, but we work it out, and it's not a big damn deal. Where when I was dating Asian men, if I said something wrong, he expected me to be submissive, and if I wasn't, he smacked me across the face. And you would be on his side, because that does happen in a lot of Asian cultures, where the father sides with the future son-in-law, or the son-in-law that he would prefer his wife to have, instead of her marrying someone like me who will love her forever regardless. And this shit happens. I just pissed off a bunch of people right there with this entire video. But the fact of the matter is that everything I just said is 100% true. If you haven't dated out of your race, you can't confirm the shit that I just confirmed. I just confirmed it for you. I'm mixed. I've been on all sides of the racial spectrum when it comes to racial insults. I haven't been a chickaboo because I'm a dude, not a chick, but I've heard it. Not just in Police Academy. I've heard it in the streets. Hey, you're going to date that black chickaboo. Or you're going to date that slant-eyed chick. Or you're going to date that long-haired, blonde, blue-eyed devil. All those are racist statements. I've heard them all from black people. Why you dating her? Why you can't date a black girl? And I'm sure the girls that have dated out of their race have heard the same shit from their parents and their families and other ethnicities that are their ethnicities, and they just chalk it up to, that's just them being stuck in their ways. They're not down with the new thing. They're not down with the swirl. They're not down with the cute girl. These things happen. And they will continue to happen until the end of time if everybody don't take 2 representatives from every ethnicity, pop your asses in a fucking chair, and start talking. And talking. Not arguing. I don't like you because of the color of your skin. You're too dark. You're too light. Your eyes are too bright. Your hair is too good. Or you smell this way. And it's probably not even body funk. It's probably just something that their soap scent might not work for you. You might not like their cologne. You might not have nothing to do with body odor at all. You just might not like them. But you have to have a reason to not like people. You can't blame one person's fuck up to you on his entire race or her entire race. You can only blame that one person, because not all people of that ethnicity has done something to you. They have not pissed in your Cheerios. When I was in the army, we had one color. Green. Like my socks. My brothers in the military, were green. We didn't give a damn if you were Mexican, if you were Chinese, if you were Filipino, if you were black, if you were mixed, if you were white. We all had one color, green. My job is to lay on that bullet so that bullet doesn't lay on you. Your job is to lay on that bullet so that bullet doesn't lay on me. And what do we have in society today? We do not have people who have the mentality to say, I love you regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, regardless of your way of thinking. We have people who say, I hate you because of your race. I hate you because of your gender. I hate your way of thinking. I hate your Christian beliefs. I hate your Baptist beliefs. I hate your Buddhist beliefs. I hate your freaking whatever the hell the other religious is, beliefs. But as long as you're going to hate people for their beliefs and their ethnic backgrounds and the shit that they can't change, which is the skin color that they were born with, we are never going to solve racism. Not just in America, but in a global scale. If you have been paying attention to the very first video, I brought up a lot of hurtful shit. I brought up a lot of shit within the last 10 years, maybe 20 years, of things that has happened due to racism. The most current things that I brought up. I will tell you before I end this video, when Sun Hee Cho, I'm probably not saying his name right, the Korean student at Blacksburg that killed yay so many people on April the 16th, way back in the day, it made people look at Asians a lot differently. Because a lot of people didn't even know Asians collected guns unless it was like in a Chinese movie. No, that wasn't their thing. He was an avid gun collector. But what we didn't know was that he had guns at his apartment, and his apartment was so close to campus that he probably could blow spitballs instead of bullets. His mistake was, it was out of jealousy. Instead of communicating with his girlfriend, instead of knowing what he needed to know, he did that shit. And then either before that happened or after that happened, there was a Asian couple where a dude attacked his girlfriend at the food court and cut her fucking head off at Blacksburg. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, damn, how'd that one get past the media? Because no one reported it. But it was done. Her family, to this day, is probably still angry about that shit. But the point of the matter is, that was an Asian on Asian crime. As I said in the other video, you are in more danger from someone who looks like you than you are from someone who doesn't. It really just depends on the dynamic and the dichotomy of where you are standing at in that moment of danger. If you are at a political rally and something racist breaks down, it's 9 times out of 10 that if you are of color, you will probably get attacked by anybody who is not of color. Because it's a racist rally. That's for that shit that happened here in Charlottesville. But if you are not of color, you can still get attacked by someone who is not of color during a racist rally. Henceforth, Miss Heather Heyer losing her life here in Charlottesville. So you have to think about this shit. Why all of us haven't just decided to get some representatives, sit down, write down the shit we hate about blacks, whites, Asians, and then check off the shit that we hate. And then ask ourselves, why do we hate this when we're doing the exact same damn thing? We go home, we brush our teeth, we wash our ass, we put deodorant on, we go to sleep. We get up, and most of us put our pants on one leg at a time, except for you ladies, because you guys can wear dresses, and we can't unless we're living in Scotland. So, just go on and do this. But no one wants to do this. You can't get any racists in the same room to figure out why they're racist. They just want to live out in the world and be racist and keep spreading hate. And until we stop that shit, there will always be racism. Whether it's on a mediocre scale, like in America, or a global scale all over the world. Now, I will tell you, because I've only been to one country outside of America, which is Canada, I didn't have one racist incident. Not one. In the 7 or 8 times that I've been to Canada, not one time has someone looked at me and said, "Hey, Chief." Not one time has someone said, "Hey, half-breed, how you doing?" None of that shit. That shit's only happened to me here in America. When I went to Florida, I was with my surrogate father, and we went to a Taste of China. Hi, Fong. She's probably like 25 with kids by now, but she was like 4 then. And they would throw her in the air and do all these gymnastic stuff. Hi, Fong. Anyway, when I was there, a gentleman who was not of color was working there, and my surrogate father, who is not of color, we were talking. They were talking about Asian people, and they were talking like, not loud, but they were saying some good things and some negative things, but mostly my surrogate father was just listening in, trying to feel this guy out. And then the guy stopped after talking for like 15 minutes, and he looked dead at me and thought that I was half Chinese. And then he looked at me and said, dude, I've been talking bad things about Chinese people this whole time, and you're sitting here, and you're probably one of them. I said, pump your brakes, buddy. First off, I'm part Cherokee Indian. I don't give a damn what you said about the Chinese because you're talking about them. You're not talking about me. Now, if you came out your mouth and said something about Native Americans in chief, I might have got a little upset. But if you're going to insult your bosses and shit, hey, that's on you, dude. And it wasn't my place to say what he said was racist. Because to me, it really didn't sound racist. It just sounded like somebody who worked for some people that he probably shouldn't be working for. He didn't say anything racially based. So it wasn't racist. He didn't say anything like, I don't like the way the Chinese people do this or that. What he said was, I've caught a couple of issues working for Chinese people. The boss is a fucking taskmaster. The boss won't let me catch a break. The boss won't let me take a break. The boss is this, the boss is that. But he never one time said anything racist about Chinese people. He thought that he did, and he was just going on until he looked dead in my face and thought that I was part Chinese. And when he said that, I said, hey man, it's not my issue. I do Kung Fu. That's about the only Chinese thing about me is that I do Kung Fu. That's it. I wanted to go over there and work with the guys playing with the Triton while those two white dudes was talking. However, I'm not from Florida, so I wasn't going to just go interrupt the Taste of China and stuff. We wanted to explore, and we got to explore a Taste of China. That was it. And then we left. But he thought that he was being racist. But he didn't realize that he wasn't being racist, but he thought he was being racist, but he didn't think he was being racist until he looked at me. Outside of that, I'm like, dude, not everything that came out your mouth was like remotely close to being racist. And it wasn't. It's like, okay, everybody has a boss who's not the same ethnicity as them. And they will say things under their breath. But when you say things under your breath, as long as you keep it truthful and leave that person's race out of it, then it's not racist. If you come out your mouth, oh, that damn spit got my job, that's racist. Oh, that damn chink or that jap or that gook or that nigger or that other cracker or that honky, that's some racist ass shit to say. He never said any of that. He didn't say anything except for his boss was a taskmaster. And maybe a little bit of an asshole. Possibly a dick. But he never said anything about the boss being a Chinaman. So it wasn't racist as far as I was concerned. It was just a little bit of venting and a whole lot of anger for some shit that didn't need to go down. From where he stood, he was doing the job that he was paid to do, and he was doing it right. The boss was a bit of a dick, and he didn't like the way he was done it because if you haven't worked for anyone Asian, then you don't understand how Asians have a specific monotony of getting shit immaculately done. It's not racist to say that Asians are immaculate at certain fields of work. But you have to understand Asian culture. Asian culture is immaculate in a lot of shit. And you have to get used to that. Now most of my martial art teachers, with the exception of my Tai Chi teacher who was Hiromi, have either been a white person or a black person. Hiromi is my first Asian teacher. And she was immaculately on your form being correct with the deer picks the fruit off the tree. Alright? You had to be immaculate. And she was not a taskmaster. She corrected you with manners, with politeness, and that was the thing. Now, Hiromi is also Japanese. The Japanese culture and the Chinese culture are two different horses of two different colors. They're not unicorns, they're just horses of different colors. Where same thing can be said about Korea. Same thing can be said about the Philippines and Nepal. Everyone is a horse of a different color. They're not something unique and mystical, and it's not a unicorn in that room. They're just, their cultural differences vary. It's the same thing that can be said about Native American tribes, which I said at the beginning of the video. Not every Native American tribe has a fucking totem pole. In fact, the only thing that they really kind of do have together is myths and legends. That's it. And that can be said for Asia as well. Myths and legends. And everyone's seen a dragon. Except for like Native Americans. So, when you're weighing the pros and cons, if we all sit down, take our heads out of our asses, and try to understand what it is about somebody's race or culture that you don't like, and ask them, why do y'all do that? and then let them ask you, why do you do that? And then y'all both can come to some kind of understanding. Racism would stop. If you see people for who people actually are instead of the color of their skin, and value their virtues instead of thinking, well, this stereotypical person does this, or this stereotypical person does that, or this one does this, and this one does that. Those things right there are the key basis to why there's racism. Because no one wants to talk. No one wants to learn. No one wants to listen. Everybody has their own opinion, which is fine until your opinion becomes insulting. And then you have problems. And instead of trying to work out the problems, you want to exacerbate the problem and make shit worse. Until we learn how to sit down and see people with our true eyes, and not their skin color, but see into their souls and figure out that they're nice people that may have gotten pissed off a little bit. They may have said some things that they didn't mean to say, or they said it, they meant to say it, but they worded it wrong. Not everyone is a racist. Not everyone is not a racist. Not everyone is prejudiced. But most of us have prejudice intentions. But when you're thinking about things before you speak, when you're learning about people's culture, when you're learning about people's lifestyle, when you put 2 and 2 together, you generally get 4. But you have to work to get to the 4. And once you understand that we are all human, we all bleed red, we all want our babies to be born with 5 fingers and 5 toes on each hand. You know, we want to be normal. But being racist, sadly, is kind of normal. But the reason why we are racist is because it's homegrown. It's bred into us by somebody in the bloodline who had a bad experience and decided, I'm going to raise every child I have to hate Asians, to hate blacks, to hate whites. And that's why that shit exists on a global scale. And then we go to other countries and we spread our hate. And we spread our knowledge. And we spread the thoughts of, well, let me go talk to this Chinaman real quick. Hey, look, dude, I don't think you should like this black guy because he smells like cheese. Now, I don't think you should like him. And you should never let him date your daughter. You should let my son date your daughter. The next day, you know, the relationship's over and she's ordered to date his daughter. These things do happen. They may not happen as often. They may not be as covered as they used to be before the internet and shit. But these things do happen. Asian culture is a very strict and crazy thing. It also depends on that Asian family and how things work out. White culture is no different. Black culture is no different. That's why you have betrothed. That's why people are locked into arranged marriages and shit like that, because it's all about honor, or it's all about this works better for us if you do this instead of you being happily with the person that you love. This happens more often than you think. And I'm sure you're thinking, but that doesn't sound racist. Oh, it's racist. Trust me, it's racist. Because even if they're of the same race, it still happens. You know, let's say, for instance, I'm from North Korea and my girlfriend is from South Korea. But my girlfriend doesn't want to move to North Korea because of the famine and all that shit. And I can't leave North Korea because if I do, I'm going to get killed. So her parents will tell her that she's going to have to forget me. And they will find every other guy that's possible as close to me as possible, so that she can try to forget me by falling in love with a doppelganger who will probably treat her just as well, if not better. And while I'm on the other side of the wall trying not to die, I have to find me a North Korean girl. These things happen all the time. It's the same thing with China. And a lot of Chinese people won't let their daughters who are in love with either women or poor Chinese guys from the wrong side of the track marry them. It has happened. It has happened in Japan. It has happened in damn near every culture in Asia, and it has happened in every culture in America too. Especially with black men marrying white women. A lot of shit like that wasn't allowed. Or a lot of white men wanting to marry black women. A lot of that shit just wasn't allowed. And it was going to be like that for a long time until certain laws were put in actions that basically told the truth. You can't tell someone who they can and can't love. Henceforth, I want to end this video on a positive note. If everybody could live one day in another race for one whole day, or let me stretch that out. If everybody could live one day in another race and the opposite gender of what you are right now. So, if I had to pick the race, and I picked white, and I wound up being a white female, And I had to go back into the time where white females were looked upon as pieces of meat to be bartered off by their fathers to some man so that father doesn't have to take care of us anymore. That would be that. Let's say I pick another race. Now I'm Asian. I'm either going to be Native American or I'm going to be Chinese, because those were the ones coming into the country first. That's why I picked them before World War II in Japan. So it's the same thing. Only I have less rights because now I'm Cherokee. I can't leave the reservation, but if my dad needs something and a white man with money happens to come along, I'm as good as his. Because dad needed the money. And I never get to see my dad again. I have to have babies with this bastard, even though I don't love him, even though I don't want him, and I don't get a choice. And if I was Chinese, it would be the same damn thing. Either I'm going to marry another Chinese because my parents said so, or I'm going to marry a Guaylo because my parents said so, and marrying a slave at the time was just not really fucking heard of. So you see the options and the roles that we would play. But if everyone could live in the opposite gender and a different race of who they are right now today, racism would stop cold. Sexism would stop cold. People would not give transgender people a hard time. People would not give racist people who are not racist, but people who are black who did out of their race, or people who are Asian, or people who are white who did out of their race because they actually found true love, they wouldn't get a hard time anymore. The world and racism would just stop cold because you've had the experience of being the opposite gender and being mistreated because you're female. You've had the experience of being the opposite race and the opposite gender, so now you get the double whammy of being a different race plus female. So now you know how to treat a female, because when you were a female, they treated you like shit. Now you only have to live this for one day. But that one day would be complete and utter hell for you if you do not have the one thing that every martial artist has that I'm going to say right now. Adaptability. Why did I do that? Because most of us martial artists, we adapt on the fly and fight. It's hard to adapt on the fly if you wake up Quantum Leap style tomorrow and you're a fucking woman. Especially if you're a man and you've been a man for 46 years and all of a sudden now you have a vagina. Now you have more maintenance than you've ever had to have in your lifetime because you don't know what the hell to do. You've never had a vagina. You've grown up with a penis. And to top that off, you're no longer the black man you went to bed as. You woke up like the watermelon man, and now you're a white woman. And you've gone back through time where white women are looked at like they're nothing. And then the next night you go through it again as a white man, as a black man, as an Asian man, as an Asian woman, as a black woman. And if everybody on earth could do that for one day, one fucking day, racism would stop. Now, before you go saying it, I'll say it for you. There's an exception to the rule. Some people are just hardcore pressed on being racist. Those people would probably have to go through this shit about 10,000 times before they wake up and realize, James is right. But if everybody could change gender and change race for one day and go back in time to where the gender was looked at less and females were put through a lot more shit, you wouldn't give people who are females a hard time. And you would be grateful when you got back into your normal time frame and in your normal body, you would respect women more. And you would respect people of other races more. And this shouldn't just happen to men, this should happen to women. So they'll understand why men love sex so much. Because if they go back as men and start treating the women the way women were treated back then and realize what they had while they're living their lives as women in the modern era, all of this shit would stop. Racism would stop. Sexism would stop. Picking on transgenders and gay people, all that shit would stop cold. If we had to go through each one of those lives as a different person, as a different race, as a different gender, everything would end in peace. Keep that thought in mind. I'm James Williams Jr. This is Comfort Havoc number 2. Be seeing you.